If you are part of that small minority of people in the Western world who haven't engaged with TikTok in any capacity, first of all, congratulations for making it this far without using the app. But secondly, you might have heard that yesterday, TikTok in the United States was shut down for 14 hours. And I think it's important to talk about that because broadly, on a political level, it's pretty relevant. It's relevant on a media level. And I think quite depressingly, it shows you how much of day-to-day life in the United States can be impacted by Donald Trump's ego. Now, TikTok is a fascinating platform because it came onto the scene in the late 2010s and it really shattered expectations for what like a new social media platform could be. TikTok's success really comes from two major factors, and that is how unique the viewer experience is and how unique the creator experience is on the app. So first things first, as a viewer experience, TikTok is unrivaled in how quickly and how effectively it can figure out what it is that you like and what you actually want to see on the platform. The algorithm pretty much immediately figures out, based on how long you watch videos, how you interact with them, what you do and don't scroll past, to basically figure out what it is that you want. It is a very common experience for a lot of people, myself included, who when they start using TikTok for the first time, within 15 minutes, the algorithm has already figured out what they do, what they don't like, and is already giving them a really engaging feed that they enjoy watching and interacting with. It is, simply put, the best algorithm on social media, and it is the defining feature that made TikTok as successful as it is. Pretty much anyone who uses the app can immediately find whatever niche communities they like, take part in that, and just immediately become accustomed to using the platform. Now, as for how TikTok functions if you are a creator on that platform posting videos, I do have some authority to talk about this, and I can say pretty confidently TikTok is probably the best place in the history of social media to get started as a creator. So if you found me through the YouTube algorithm by some miracle and you didn't come here from my TikTok, that is where I got my start as a content creator back in 2019. And over the course of almost 6 years now, I've accumulated about 1 million followers over there. And I can say that TikTok, the thing that makes it so special is the fact that there is essentially no barrier to entry whatsoever to become a creator on that platform. The first thing there being that there is no real expectation of professionalism on TikTok, and I say that as a very, very good thing. Because over here on YouTube, there is an expectation that whatever you put out has a certain level of quality to it, and below that level of quality, people are not going to enjoy the video. And look, you can critique my quality all you want, but I think you get my point. But over on TikTok, just filming yourself with a humorous take in a normal day setting is absolutely accepted and will probably do better than a needlessly overproduced video would on TikTok. And then, of course, there's the fact that you immediately have access to millions of licensed audios that you can use, and TikTok gives you access to a pretty simple but very effective editing setup that I think, if used correctly, which it very often is, can make incredibly good videos that are just very fun to watch. Add all of that on top of the fact that you have the best viewer experience algorithm ever, and what you pretty much have is access for anyone to the tools that they need to make entertaining and good videos so that literally any random guy, myself included, can become a big creator on the platform. Now, all of that is wonderful, but there are a couple of problems. The first one being that this incredible algorithm and creative platform put together was designed by a company from China. And that is always going to rub some Americans, particularly American politicians, the wrong way. So, of course, there is a lot of paranoia from people thinking that, oh, maybe this is just some ploy for the Chinese government to steal Americans' data. However you want to frame that argument. A lot of people believe that. But I think there's a much more concrete and real reason as to why TikTok has become so contentious and so susceptible to this idea of a government ban. And that is the fact that American companies cannot compete with TikTok. It is simply a better product than any American social media. Because in America, some companies, if they are big enough, can just pay to have their competition go away instead of trying to innovate and actually making a better product for their consumers. That is why Meta, the company that owns Facebook and Instagram and is run by Mark Zuckerberg, has for years now been lobbying to get TikTok investigated by members of Congress. This lobbying effort, coupled with just increasing xenophobia and just a general fear of anything Chinese, really came to a head in 2024 when Congress finally did pass legislation to ban TikTok in the United States. So despite the free speech concerns of taking away a platform where tens of millions of Americans meet, where a majority of Americans interact with other people on a daily basis, and where there is quite a lot of criticism of US foreign policy, the United States Congress patted itself on the back and passed this law. But in 2024, there was one politician who suddenly had a very, very positive relationship with TikTok, and that was Donald Trump. Donald Trump, in an attempt to reach out to young people during his campaign last year, got onto TikTok, and it was an immense success for him personally. And like I said, TikTok, incredibly good at showing people what they want. So Trump got millions of followers very, very, very quickly, and I think he liked that. Here's the thing about the TikTok ban. It actually requires enforcement by the executive, the president. So whether or not TikTok actually gets banned is pretty much, practically speaking, entirely in Trump's hands at this point going forward. But anyway, in anticipation of the ban actually coming into effect and there being potentially fines for continued operation, TikTok, as you all saw, left the United States, basically blocking all US accounts from actually using the platform. Now, Biden was very flip-floppy on this overall. He really wasn't making a statement either way about whether or not he would actually enforce the fines that were coming through. So TikTok said, look, that is not a concrete answer. We cannot continue functioning, hence the app shuts down. But it looks like at the final moments, Trump gave them a lifeline. What was really telling was the fact that you got this alert if you were in the US on the day of the shutdown. Basically, you got an alert saying that TikTok was shutting down, but we think that Trump might save us, which is really weird. And when the app came back, it said pretty much directly that Trump had figured out a solution, there was a 90-day extension, and that it was owed to him the fact that the app was still around. Now, we don't know what the fine details are, or if TikTok's going to be sold to an American company, or there'll be some new arrangement, but I don't think any of that matters. And I don't think Trump cares about that at all. What I really think matters, at least to Donald Trump, is the fact that saving TikTok is something that could give him a very big and a very easy win his first 100 days in office. Add on to that the fact that when the app was shutting down and when it came back, it was basically talking about how great and how generous Trump was. I think this is all showing that TikTok is really playing along, as it were, and stroking Trump's ego in this moment to basically say, hey, look, we just showed 170 million Americans an alert that says that you are saving their favorite thing. This is why I genuinely believe that TikTok is probably going to stay around. Because at this point, looking at how to deal with the United States government, it isn't even what the law says or what Congress passes. The real thing that determines success at this point, and probably for the next 4 years, is how special can you make the President of the United States feel?